Thank you very much.
You're welcome. See you later. See you later.
So you slept well?
Yes, slept very well today.
Yeah, one of the reasons is we have a flat bottom ships, so on the rivers, the ride is much more smooth without any
It's very smooth, yeah.
Very quiet.
unexpected calm movements. And as well, we have the 4 double propellers on the back, the planetary gearbox. So as well, we don't have the rudder. So the propellers, they are directing the movement of the ship, and this is avoiding any vibrations and stuffs which we know from the past. Let's say the compliances. And during the heavy wind, we are using the front bow thruster.
Oh, is that right? You use that in even in forward motion?
Yes, they are
Really?
directly on the front.
So not just for docking or...
Usually for docking,
Also
in the
logs.
logs, and during the heavy cut corridors. Yeah.
Also, if you go turning the ship,
Huh.
And they are working the front bow thrusters. They are just working as they are the pump jets. So it's working more like a vacuum cleaner. It's sucking the water inside. It's throwing on by some angle from another side, and it's building up this kind of self stream in the under the ship.
Huh. This is a man-made channel. Man-made.
I should welcome you to Bratislava. You are in Bratislava, the capital of the most beautiful country in the world. And I would love to welcome you to Slovenia. You are not in, exactly. My dear friends, you are not in Slovenia, of course. You are in Slovakia. But don't worry, many even Europeans are mixing up Slovakia and Slovenia. I will tell you the difference and you will know forever. Slovakia is ex-Czechoslovakia, while Slovenia is ex-Yugoslavia. If we want to travel to Slovenia, we have to cross all territory of Austria, down there to the south. So you are in Slovakia, you are right. And, yeah. A-N-A, that's how it spells. And together with our driver, Martin, we are going to do our best to show you Bratislava. What I wanted to tell you, I placed the mask on. I have every day different people, different groups. So I want to protect you because we want you to come back, or to continue with the journey and to go to Vienna. So that's why I better wear it, but it is not compulsory here. Now I will better sit down and would like to tell you right now what exactly we are going to do. Much safer now, much better now. So, first of all, before we completely leave this passenger port area of Bratislava, located right here next to the historical city center, I would like to point out this beautiful building which looks like the one from Harry Potter movie. I hope you like it. We like it, actually. And this building was built about it. And then after a short break, we will be taken again by Martin for sightseeing tour in our historical city center. And that will be a very short, easy, comfortable walking tour through our downtown, half an hour more or less. And if you look to the right hand side, you can see this beautiful beige stucco building. That's exactly the place we finish our walking tour, right behind it. So then you can have free time, and after the free time you walk back to your ship on your own, just down the street, cross the road, reach Danube River, make left turn, and you will be there. But you don't have to remember this now, because at the end of tour I will point out the way back to your ship for you. By the way, by communists, it was a new one. So we name it New Bridge, and still, despite the fact that it is the oldest bridge in Bratislava, we call it as a New Bridge. Or we give it sometimes another name in accordance with the round construction set on the top of two pylons in the height of 300 feet. You know what it is, that round construction? Exactly, UFO restaurant. UFO. By the way, expensive one, you know, and that kind, you will get 3 tiny pieces of something tasty on your plate, and you might be charged with more than 100 euros. We can get up there using first pylon where we set the elevator, in the second one 430 emergency steps. On your right hand side you can see already the promenade of our downtown historical city center. Despite of cold, still people are coming there. Another view to the beautiful streets of our downtown, with its dominant, this church on our right hand side. Have a look to the right hand side, you can see the biggest, the most important, but far not the oldest church in Bratislava. We just passed Cathedral of St. Martin from 14th century, which was built in Gothic style, and on the top of the spire it has got gold-plated crown. That crown carries almost 18 pounds of gold, and together with a pillow under it weighs 700 pounds. It's a precious masterpiece placed there in 18th century as a symbol of coronations, because exactly there 10 Hungarian kings and 1 queen were crowned within the period of almost 300 years. Those times Bratislava was also the capital of Hungarian kingdom. Due to security reasons, this city turned into the most important city of Hungarian kingdom. It was for almost 300 years, and that was actually the period of time when Bratislava literally flourished. Most of those beautiful historical palaces you are going to see in our city center down there, they come exactly from this period of time. One of those palaces we can see right here in front of us. Look at it. White palace from 18th century, which became the seat of Slovak presidents. That's why you can see presidential standard up there on the top of the roof, and a presidential guard standing in the entrance, as you can see. That's the symbol of presence of our president inside a palace, because our presidents do not live there, they just work there. That's their office. They live in their own private residences. Current president of Slovakia, we elected like 3.5 years ago, and this time we voted for a completely different president. We voted for female. We have got a lady as a president of Slovakia, Susana. Thank you, ladies, because I guess ladies are clapping, of course. Well, her name is Susana Čaputová. She is really smart, very smart, beautiful, 40 years old, 40 plus, single mother of 2 teenage daughters. And what's the most important, so far no scandals, which I cannot say about other politicians. And now if you look around, you can see here big palaces. We passed already very beautiful ones, which were built here in 19th century as the residences of newly established class, rich bourgeoisie. They were rich businessmen who had built their villas here, their houses here, and unfortunately, after the end of Second World War, communists took over the power here, and they confiscated all private properties. So they turned them into the seats of governmental institutions, schools, centers for leisure time, and so on. So they lost their beauty completely. I mean, interior was rebuilt, and now they are again in the hands of individuals or private companies. So again, they are trying to give them back their original beauty. Another one of those palaces on your left hand side, this one was built for family Paludjai. Look at the decoration about windows. There are wine grapes there. That's because this family was dealing with wine production, and the wine production has got quite a important history here in Bratislava and in southern part of Slovakia. And few bottles of their wines, very high quality wines, are still the most probably buried deep down in Atlantic Ocean, because they were served on the ship Titanic. Yeah, they were being delivered to White Star Line Company in UK. In front of us, in a distance, we have got a wonderful view now to that tower. Can you see it? Behind those taller houses? So that tower actually was built in the years 70s as a television tower, and we don't use it anymore because, you know, we switched to digital television signal, but we use it as a viewpoint. In its central part there is a restaurant which is rotating. Doesn't matter whether you are drinking or not, this restaurant turns round. Within 60 minutes we can see all our city, even a part of territory of Vienna, if the weather is nice. And that's because Bratislava is located very close to Vienna. Actually, our capital, as the only one in the world, is located right in the corner of 3 countries. We directly border Austria and Hungary. That's a specialty of Bratislava. We have just 40 miles to Vienna from here. Budapest slightly more than 100 miles. Even Prague is not so far away. More than 220 miles, more or less, I would say. So it is really very convenient location of our capital, and it allows us to see those surrounding countries within one day. Bratislava has got 500,000 of population living in southwest corner of our country, and then we have 5.4 million Slovaks living in territory of almost 20,000 square miles. So we are definitely not a big country, but very beautiful one. And almost 70% of our territory is formed by mountains. You can see first hill down there on your right hand side now of so-called small Carpathian Mountains. Have you ever heard about Carpathian Mountains?
Yeah.
Some of you definitely. If you haven't heard, I'm pretty sure you at least heard about the most famous personality living there. Count Dracula. Dracula lived there, yeah. But don't worry, not here in territory of Slovakia. This mountain system just starts here around Bratislava. They proceed through all our country, where they are reaching their highest peak, almost 9,000 feet above sea level. We have got beautiful ski areas and lakes there, perfect place for summer winter vacation. And then it continues to down to Romania. That's actually they're actually the Dracula lived. This mountain system has got 9 nationally protected areas. One of them right now on your left hand side is park with its special flora and fauna. That's why no more houses could be built in its neighborhood. And of course those existing ones are incredibly expensive. Even the smallest, singlest, oldest and ugliest house here got a value of more or less 1 million euros. If you compare this to average price of 2-bedroom apartment of 800 square feet, which is 200,000 euros, so you can imagine there is a big difference. So who is living here? First of all, politicians, rich businessmen, well, that's more or less the same. And then we have here representatives of our sport, cultural life. Talking about sports life, you come from which country? From United States? Yeah. Any Canadians? Yeah? No? Okay, doesn't matter, because for Americans the same. You probably are, at least some of you, fans of ice hockey. And if you are fans of ice hockey, I'm pretty sure you heard about the names. Chara, very tall portman, Hossa, Gaborik, Palfi. These are, or were, some of them, very famous Slovak ice hockey players playing American national leagues, earning millions of dollars and being able to buy or build house here in this area. Then we have famous Cibulkova, Hantuchova, major tennis players. Have you heard about cyclist who won the Tour de France? Peter Sagan, Slovak. And I could continue. We have plenty of Slovaks who actually probably are not Slovaks because they live in another country, like in the United States, but their ancestors were Slovaks. For example, Andy Warhol. Andy Warhol, 100% Slovak. His both parents came from Slovakia at the beginning of 20th century. What about Paul Newman? Paul Newman's mother was Slovak. Famous American astronaut, first one actually, Eugene Cernan. His father was Slovak, Eugen Cernan. That's not just the American version of his name. So we could continue, but now, my dear friends, we are approaching first point of view, and I would like to ask you, those who would who want to, yeah, another chance right here. On the way back, those who are now sitting behind Martin would have a chance to take pictures. That's really beautiful view. Can you imagine when illuminated in the nights? It looks like a fairy tale picture. And if you turn your heads to your left-hand side, you can see first of those modern castles, which value goes much higher than up to 1 million euros. And look at them, they have got even their stables. But of course now they are being named garages. And they keep hundreds of horses inside, named Maserati, Porsche, Ferrari, and so on. And since you are from United States, my dear friends, please have a look to your left-hand side. We are passing something which should look familiar to you. American what? White what? White House, of course, that's American White House, dear ladies and gentlemen. And you understand that the copy is in United States. Well, it is not the embassy, it is residence of American ambassador to Slovakia, not the embassy. Embassy is downtown, I will show you later. On your left-hand side up there, British residence, where British ambassador lives. On your right-hand side, Chinese residence, not embassy. And right now on your right-hand side, Kazakhstan residence. We have got 98 embassies and consulates here in Bratislava, and many of them has got their seats here around this castle area, or probably even most of them. And the same is for ambassadors. They are living in this area. I can tell you, I was born here in Bratislava, grew up here, so I remember this area being much less crowded than it is now. New big houses were built here, and it became more and more expensive. Look up there on your left-hand side. You see that small wooden house? That's mine. I wish so. Yeah. And now, more business part of Bratislava, district number 2, right on your right-hand side, you can see our skyscrapers. That's how we call those tall buildings. We have no taller ones. Look at that round glassy one with the heliport set on its top. That's at the moment the tallest building in all our country. 400 feet, 43 floors, 26 elevators. That's the seat of Slovak National Bank. Fully electronic building, and that's the place where all our money are kept. No, that's why we have nothing here. All our money are there. And now another point of view. On your right hand side you can again see in a distance television tower, former television tower, and those slopes of Carpathian Mountains. You can still see small pieces of vineyards on the right side, but most of vineyards disappeared. You know, they were taken by new big luxury houses. And now Martin managed the U-turn, and we are heading back to the pylon with a statue up there, which represents Soviet soldiers standing on broken swastika, symbol of Nazis, and having the Soviet flag in his hands. Actually, this monument was built by communists, and in order to make that pylon visible from far away from Bratislava, they ordered the tower of the closest church to be cut off, not to spoil the view to it. Yeah. So now we are again approaching that very same point of view. This time those who are sitting behind Martin can take pictures of our castle and this place. Yeah. And left for me probably just 3 minutes until we reach the castle parking lot. To tell you something basic about our history. Don't worry, I don't mean to make you bored with too many names, years, details. Just want to give you an idea who we are and where you are actually. So I should tell you that we Slovaks are originally the members of Slavic tribes, and very first Slavs came to this territory around Bratislava in 6th century after Christ. Anyway, very soon, like 300 years later, came Hungarian tribes which conquered this territory, and since 10th century we became a part of Hungarian kingdom, later Austrian-Hungarian Empire, up to the end of First World War. It means more than 1,000 years. Then the situation changed completely. With the end of First World War, Austrian-Hungarian Empire collapsed and new countries were established in this part of Europe, among them also Czechoslovakia, as a common state of two different but very similar nations, Czechs and Slovaks. So as a part of Czechoslovakia we existed more or less 80 years, more than half of this period, under communist regime. Then finally came 1989, the very same year when even Berlin Wall was pulled down, and in November of that very year, communist regime collapsed, got broken, and we could start building up new democratic society. First 4 years still as a part of Czechoslovakia, and then in January 1st of 1993, Czechoslovakia definitely stopped existing and two new countries were established, independent Czech Republic and Slovakia. And that's very frequent question from our visitors. Why you split the country? Why happened this separation? So I have to tell you, I don't know. I really don't know, because no one asked me about opinion. There was no referendum, nothing like that. Just two men decided about it. Prime Minister of Czech Republic and Slovak Republic. They simply got agreed, sat down at the table, divided the common property of Czechoslovakia into 3 parts, and in accordance with the number of population of each country, 2 parts took Czechs, they are more than 10 million, and 1 part for us, Slovaks, 5.4 million. As easy as that deal was done, country was split. But I have to tell you one more thing. We did not protest, neither Czechs nor Slovaks, because Czechs believed that with the separation they were going to get rid of poorer brother, Slovaks. And we Slovaks believed that we were going to get rid of someone who was just sucking everything the best from Slovakia to Prague. That's why we were pretty quiet, and separation could happen so easily, peacefully. And now, economically, we are doing more or less the same like Czechs. In some aspects worse, in others slightly better. And talking about it, what would you say is the main source of income for such a small country? Tourism, yeah, well, just for your information, tourism forms 6% of our economy. 80% of our economy depends on car industry. Well, actually, it depends on export, and what we export is cars mainly, 95%, and the rest is electronic, mostly electronic products. So, which cars we are producing here? First of all, here in Bratislava we have got the biggest company, Volkswagen, which bought the former Czechoslovak company Skoda, and now they are the only factory in the world producing 5 different cars. Like Volkswagen Touareg, first of all, then Porsche Cayenne. All those new Porsche Cayenne you can see all over the world, in your country as well, they come from here. Then they produce Audi Q7, Audi Q8, one kind of Skoda car, and then one from Spain, Seat, SE80. Then we have company from Korea, Kia, in central part of Slovakia.
Yeah, you're probably not cold, right?
Oh, wow. Her era, here we have been compounded for the beginning of 4 years, but at least we have been compulsory education. And these things made a reconstruction of the practice, and the order gives evidence to one of her most beloved children, her daughter Maria Cristina. His young princess those times was the only one of all kids of Maria Teresa from my childhood who were able to get married, because part of everyone of them were able to get married. As the only one, she was allowed to marry a man just because of love, not because of political interest. And that was exceptional, because you probably have heard Maria Teresa very often was being called as a mother-in-law of all Europe. Her kids were married to members of royal families within all Europe. So this young princess was saved from this, and she settled down here with her husband Albert Saxon-Czeshin, one of the sons of Polish king, which was slightly under her level, but still acceptable for her mother. And her mother paid the reconstruction. Actually, Maria Cristina spent here happy life, relatively happy life, not that kind of lavish life like her sister back there in France, Maria Antoinette, another daughter of Maria Theresa of Habsburg. But when this one died, her head was still firmly connected to the rest of her body. She wasn't decapitated of the beauty. So that was the best era for Starfall, because after the death of Maria Teresa, who had built this U-shaped private residence for herself, and by the way, now there is the restaurant. On the way back, when you decide to go back to the coach already, so you can stop by at the wooden door in the corner, on the right corner, and if you open, you enter, it goes down, and there are restaurants. So far, so free. So far, because before pandemic, we paid 18.
Oh, that's it.
We will see how long it will take. So, back to Maria Teresa. After her death, her son Joseph II closed the shop. And what's more, we put up here the soldiers. And soldiers who weren't careful about the fact at all, one night in 1811, they forced accident on the fire, which turned even further defenses here into the woods. We had just worked here for next 140 years. Can you imagine? There was nothing after 100 years. In the middle of 60s, and museum of Holland was placed into the 3 out of 4 walls. This wall completely closed for public, because the reason why politicians who are an official visit of this country. And actually, in 2005, this castle hosted 2 the most powerful men in the world. American President George W. Bush and Russian President Vladimir Putin. They met here, yeah. By the way, Mr. Bush spent 2 nights in the White House.
Really?
Yeah, up there. So he definitely could not feel homesick, you know. And so where Putin spent his 2 nights, we have no idea. In front of the entrance, you can see statue of Svetopluk, first king of Slav. These gentlemen ruled this part of our country in 9th century, and once he died, we were conquered by Hungarian tribes and became a part of Hungarian kingdom. And now, my dear friends, please turn around and have a look at the beautiful blue Danube River. You agree with me? Is it blue?
No.
Blue? Okay, you need a second look after I say only go. Wow, in love, can see there is
Sorry.
And now, what is more interesting, on the other side of the river, you can see the biggest water of Bratislava, district number 5 of 150,000 people there. This was completely built by foreigners. We were able to visit more than 100,000 people in a very short period of time of 10-12 years, almost for free. And of course, those kind of people could not become legal owners. The legal owner was the state. But those people living there, they became a lifetime terrorists. Even their children, grandchildren, women. So Slovak territory is just this water and this forest here. And on the left side, up to those chimneys, including those chimneys. Those chimneys, they belong to Slovakia. This is the only refinery by the way, you know on whom we depend with petrol and gas.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know.
Good. Yeah.
But who knows? 100%. So that you can imagine our home there. So past all the territory behind those chimneys, those forests you can see there, behind this water, that's not Slovakia anymore, that's Hungary. So and now imagine, during communist regime, Austria was considered as an enemy country. Communists considered it as part of Western capitalist militant danger. They didn't want us to get in touch with them. And since I grew up here in Bratislava and spent almost half of my life under communist regime, I do remember pretty well how it was when we were coming here, standing next to this wall, looking to the other side and just wondering what the light there might be. Communist Austrians placed on that hill 2 big satellites which were broadcasting electrical signal, so we could catch the signal of Radio Free Europe in America. But communists on this side of river placed on the hill, on one hill, another satellites even bigger, blocking those signals. Yeah. And right here, if you look to the other side of Danube River, among the trees, you can see a thin path. Can you see it? Yeah, this path led up to 2.5 miles upstream, where is the border in the middle of river with Austria. And I remember as a child and teenager, there was just a huge, long razor wire, double or triple in some places, with guardhouses for soldiers, a lot of soldiers patrolling up and down with their killer dogs. To live illegally was a crime. It means Judith would decide, I am going to Austria, whatever happens, I am not so concerned about you communists, what you say. So if, providing you manage somehow to escape, and then you would like to come back, you would be imprisoned. Imprisoned on the base of accusation which sounds like this. Illegal abandonment of republic. You could get 10 years, or even more. And then, finally came the end of communism. Can you imagine for us? I was a student at the university, and we were told on the street, you now free country. You want to travel? Go. You want to go to Austria? Right now, you free. You can imagine I came back home that evening kind of expecting my parents would just jump into the car and we would go, you know, straight to Austria. But my parents are the generation which still remember 1968 when Czechoslovakia for the first time tried to get rid of communists.
Yep.
There was a movement called Prague Spring with Alexander Dubček who introduced some reforms, open borders, allowed some Western imported, and Soviet government didn't like those changes. They asked him to stop, and when they sent their troops to our territory. Within one night, 6,000 Soviet tanks and 500,000 soldiers of Warsaw Treaty invaded former Czechoslovakia. Immediately borders were closed, and those people who were on the vacation, because it happened in summer, in August 21st, they had to decide whether to stay abroad or to come back home, but immediately. So that was what my parents remembered. So they said, you crazy kid, do not dare to approach the border from us. You know, because they asked me to wait a few more days until it would be everything clear. Because those soldiers patrolling the year, they could still get anytime order to act. Yeah, but you know, we were young. I like to call it courage. My parents would call it stupid. So we decided to walk there, and I remember such a cold November afternoon, all the way through this quarter. You see that only chimney there in the distance on the right side of this quarter?
Yep.
Behind it on the right side there is a low dark blue building. Somewhere there is a legal cross point to Austria. So we wanted to reach that point and to cross the border. So I remember approaching the border side. We were like, probably it wasn't the best idea of us. If we would be captured, most probably our parents even wouldn't learn about it. But then, waiting there, we saw more people approaching the border. So we were like, okay, let's do the try. So we continued. Those soldiers with stony faces, still, they weren't very welcoming, but they didn't stop us. They let us enter the custom building. We got these stamps into our passport. That was the first big surprise. No one asked why you want to go there, how long you will stay there, blah blah blah. Nothing, just go. So we crossed the border, we entered no man territory, then Austrian custom building, and the biggest surprise was when we saw the gentleman sitting behind us asking for passport, and he smiled at us and said, good afternoon, welcome to Austria. We were like, what? We couldn't even believe it, you know. We started to cry and laugh at the same time, hugging each other, even him. He was very pleased with the And then we stepped out and we were in Austria. The country I believed all my life up to that moment that would never ever be able to visit. We were in Austria. We said, unbelievable, let's do it again. So what we did was we turned around and came back. And again there. And I can tell you we spent all afternoon just crossing the border, up and down, up and down. That was so amazing, and still it remains the strongest memory for me. and I love to recall those memories, I can tell you, because that was one of the best moments of the end of communist regime. We could hear for the first time such words like free election, democracy, freedom, free traveling, whatever. So it was really amazing. And I can tell you that I do not take it for granted. I always feel kind of, let's call it respect when I travel to Austria, always, because I know that that's not something which is so, yeah. That's great now, isn't it? Even the fact that I can talk to you. Could you imagine? It never ever crossed through my mind in 1989 that one day I would speak English, which I wasn't allowed to study. My parents were in communist, so for me it was forbidden to study the language of enemy countries. But they let me to study another language. That's how I came to English. Language of a very befriended country to Soviet Union, Cuba. Spanish language. So I started to do cycling tours in Spanish first, and then English-speaking guides were badly needed, so they sent us to school. But still, I feel more secure with Spanish, actually, because I studied later, and I love it simply. Okay, my dear friends, thanks for your patience and also here. You can now walk around. You can go to Castle Courtyard. Mom?
Okay. Hey, honey, go to the right.
Go to the left.
Go to the right.
Try to go in.
Huh? I know. I don't guess it's open. All right.
I would like to now tell you something more about the economy, as I promised. So what are the other industries here except the car industry? First of all, we have heavy industry in eastern part of Slovakia where we are producing steel. It is now owned by US Steel. Then we have chemical pharmaceutical industry. We are producing shoes. Have you ever heard about Eco shoes? Gabor, Riker. By the way, on your left-hand side, there is a hospital built in 19th century, right next to the cemetery, as you can see. Very convenient location, yeah. But in that hospital, the very first heart transplant was performed within former Czechoslovakia. It happened just few months after the very first such kind of operation performed in the world by Professor Christian Barnard from South Africa. On your left-hand side, you can see the seat of European Community representatives to Slovakia. Our country is a member of EU since 2004, as well as NATO that very same year. And since 2009, we are using euro currency. So back to economy. Then we have also viticulture, agriculture, mostly in southern and eastern part of Slovakia. And we have also, we are producing, we have here the seeds of few international important IT company like IBM, Microsoft, Dell, Amazon, Lenovo, Henkel, Pixel Federation, and few more. So these all affect unemployment rate at the moment 6.3%. Slightly higher than it used to be before pandemic. We had 4.2, but hopefully we will be able to reduce this number again. And average income in this country are officially 1,220 euros per month gross. Gross mean that when we get our salary, we have to pay 20% of taxation, 20% plus, depends on how much we are earning, plus healthcare insurance and social insurance, also based on the percentage of our incomes. And finally, we get probably 900 euros netto every month. That is a netto. We pay to this government 60% of our incomes. 60%. But then we say we have free healthcare system, free education system. Yeah. And average income here in Bratislava might be higher, up to 2,000 euros per month, again gross. And average pension for our retired people are 550 euros netto. These people do not pay healthcare insurance, social insurance, do not pay taxation. They have significant reducement in payment of any activities they are doing. They do not pay public transportation, for example. Even transportation within the country is for a very symbolical price, like 50 cents. But still it's not enough if you consider that one apartment of 2 bedrooms, the one you have seen from Castle Terrace up there, cost, maintenance fees cost more or less 250 euros, including electricity, internet, heating, everything together. So not so much money left to them for spending every month. Yeah, that's the average pension. I don't know now whether I've missed something important to tell you related to our economy. Now it's all more or less. Now you can see again up there our castle. You will be able to see it one more time once we reach the point from where we start walking tour. That will be the second portion of our sightseeing tour. Now we are going to leave this coach. Leave for good. It means we are not coming back. It has no point in being taken by bus, because it would take even longer than to walk back to our ship. But I have to appreciate the main reason why that's never ever
Oh, really?
And that's why this city turned into the capital of water freedom. And one gentleman asked me for ATM. I see here one of them. But as far as I know, those ATMs, the yellow something inside, they mostly belong to private companies. And I was told that in that case they would charge you more, higher fees than the ATM of bank. And at the end of our tour, there will be a ATM of bank.
Okay.
So I guess you were told back there on the ship that you don't need so much cash. You can pay by credit card, which is more convenient for you. Cash in some cases only. No, probably some shops would ask you for cash. On your right hand side, before this class under the finally end of the first two. On the right side of this tower, you can see this Swinger Kebab restaurant. That, dear ladies and gentlemen, the narrowest house in Bratislava, Slovakia, and the second narrowest one in Central Europe. The facade measures just 3.6 feet. And actually, it is wider inside. They had all just one color, gray. They were heavily neglected, slowly getting deteriorated like how. On the right hand picture. I forgot to tell you one important thing before. To warn you, because we discovered last week that we have here in Bratislava again those groups of pickpocket people traveling all around Europe, stopping for a few weeks here and there until they become very well known to guides at least, and then they return to another city or move to another city. So please watch out, they are incredibly skilled and quick, and they love to get stuck the group in narrow places. So always make sure that your valuables are carefully hidden.
Right.
As you can see, a lot of
And my camera won't work.
on your right hand side, you can see Georgia's embassy. On the left side, the yellow and the red one, there's Macedonia, Turkey, there's Cyprus, and Cyprus. So we have, as I told you, 98 embassies in Nigeria. And I am going to show you the American embassy of our world. You must see where your money goes, the place your money goes to, right? Yeah. Okay, on your left-hand side there is the evidence of something special, Bratislava. Unlike Budapest, unlike Vienna, here, as you can see, all those houses are just historical buildings. No modernist. And even though their facades mostly come from 16th, 17th, 18th century, they are much, much older. This is the perfect example. Renaissance style facade, but inside you can see original Gothic building, and in the courtyard you will see even remains of original Roman styled windows. So it's a mix of style, all those buildings. When they start digging every building here, they always find something interesting. They say that they feel like Alice in Wonderland. They already found the evidences of first settlement in Bratislava, so they know it could be dated back to 2,500 years before Christ. And Here I would like to make you stop for a second because I want to show you the evidence of the only bombardment ever this city experienced. It happened in 1809, and that bombardment was done by soldiers of very dangerous men, those times Napoleon Bonaparte. 1809, he sent his troops to the other side of the Danube River, that way, and they started to fire their cannonballs to the city. Frankly speaking, Napoleonic balls did not cause so much damage to the city. Cannonballs hit few buildings, of course, but those times Bratislava had a mayor who was very generous man, and he decided that all those people whose houses were somehow damaged by cannonballs, that the owners would not have to pay taxes for a period of 1.5 years. So you can imagine what people did. They started to collect the cannonballs from these streets, placing them into the facades of their houses in order to have an evidence of bombardment and to avoid paying taxes. Believe me, up to now we still keep like 10 such balls. That's why I stopped you to show you first one, which is a small one, up there in the brick floor. And it is very small one. We have here also much bigger one. This one, I would love you to look for it.
That one, the middle.
No. I can help you. It does not have to be on this side of the street. And you have to walk a little bit down. You will find. And I'm looking at you who would be the first one, this couple. Yeah. Right there. It is there. Look up there.
You did? Oh yeah.
Oh my God.
Much bigger black Napoleon. And now, my dear friends, use your sense of orientation. Where is Danube River? Somewhere that direction, exactly that way. So how actually from that side, and one right there, had to be ricochet one. Yeah. Unless you want to believe that the most typical souvenir from this country are those African cats, yeah, you can hardly find any souvenir here which could be typical for this country. Those Gustav Klimt ceramic has nothing to do with Slovakia. Definitely it does not represent this country. Once I see what we have to do with stuck dolls. Exactly. Nothing to do, but I see here something which should represent not Slovakia, at least Czechoslovakia. Look at this small animal. You know what it is? It's a mole. That blind animal living underground in your garden, driving you crazy, making corridors. We love him. We call him Krteček, and that's for us the same like for you, dear Americans, your Mickey Mouse. This one is our Mickey Mouse. It's a Czechoslovak fairy tale. My generation grew up with it. I have tried another beautiful order of a new seat for Hungarian parliament, you know, in their capital, the capital and parliament residing here. Now it is just a part of the biggest library in all our country, which belongs to the biggest university, public university, Comenius. This university has got 16 faculties. And here, most typical dish from here. This board I like because we chose all what we eat on the other side as well. What we eat. You sailing from Budapest, so you had Hungarian goulash, right? You like it?
We haven't had it yet. We want it.
Ah, yeah. And what about those noodles, this round bread? You like it? Because sometimes people do not like it, but we love it actually. It is very good. We serve it with different dishes. You definitely are going to have Wiener Schnitzel, yeah? Actually, I don't know why it is named Wiener Schnitzel. It is as much Wiener Schnitzel as Bratislava Schnitzel, as Budapest Schnitzel, as Prague Schnitzel. But well, let's call it Wiener Schnitzel. And we have here a dish which you cannot find in Hungary, Austria or Czech Republic. It is this one. This one. They are so-called halushki, small gnocchis made of raw grated potatoes, together with fine flour. We make dough, we make those small gnocchis, and when they are cooked, we place over, when served on the table, typical fresh sheep cheese from Slovak mountains. This fresh sheep cheese is rather strong, so we put a little bit of milk cream to make it smoother, and together with pieces of roasted bacon. Delicious. We love it, and I can tell you every real Slovak lady must know how to prepare this, otherwise she's not a Slovak. And here you can see the same gnocchis. There is a different version with sauerkraut. We eat a lot of sauerkraut in this area of Europe because during centuries it used to be the only source of vitamin C for us during winter times. Yeah. So there are plenty of dishes with sauerkraut. So now, and here, my dear friends, if you look around, you can find another cannonball, even without telling you where. It's smaller one, but it's easy to find it. Yes, exactly. Right up there. And we are going to see one more. Look at the right side. There are victims of pandemic. Scottish party. Exactly. Mexico. The only one which survived in this area is Irish party. I can tell you, for my generation, can you imagine after the fall of communist regime, suddenly we had everything. We had opened Chinese restaurants, we had McDonald's, we had Scottish pub, Irish pub. We were so proud, you know, Bratislava started to be international city. And now, finally, it's going to be opened. I don't know whether it took over another company, but they will open it and they will keep the original spirit as it was during centuries.
Watch out, Vic. Mask.
Oh,
So, if you look at this, you can see here the most important souvenirs from Bratislava. Again, krteček, but these are those corn husk dolls, which are very typical for this area. Dark blue ceramic, colored ceramic, being produced in one small town called Bratislava. And of course, plenty of wooden toys you will find inside, hopefully. And something I would like to point out, let me check if they have the right percentage. Yeah. Slivovica. Slivovica is a local plum brandy, very strong one. The best one, the purest one, and the smoothest one must have 52% of alcohol, 104 proof. That's why I checked whether they have the right one. They have it. And what I usually recommend to over here, get one bottle of this one, is 52. Take it back to your ship. And once you are sitting down at the dinner table or lunch table, you open the bottle, share the content with your partner or neighbor, and have a shot. Do not sip it. We don't sip it. We just have a shot, drink a little bit of water, and then immediately you should start having your lunch or dinner. The best is to start with hot soup. This drink serves as an appetizer, protector of your stomach, digestive, aphrodisiac, and was the most important, germ killer. That's something important. Yeah.
Must use a lot during COVID.
Believe me. Believe me, they were
Sanitizer too.
So,
There's a pizza.
Yeah.
Pizza. Oh, this is the guy. Right there.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Električka ještě uvidíme. And all these are closed.
Yeah.
It is because people are touching it. And now I'm going to tell you why food is touching. So there are basically two sayings related to this statement. First one claims that all those people who touch his head will be as happy as him for a lifetime. No more warnings for him. But I personally like more the second saying, which is not for everyone, and it is related to his nose. It is said that all those ladies, only gentlemen I'm saying, ladies who touch his nose, you can change your husbands.
That's why it's so far.
Line of music. And please do not ask me into what. Probably the one who sat on the lap, cooking, cleaning, shopping. You never know.
The nose.
That's the bank.
8 here.
Sorry. Oh, you're good.
We have to know where we go.
I know. Yeah. that pastry?
This is the very first farm, Western farm, ever opened in territory of Slovakia after the fall of communist regime. When I was a student, and for the first time we saw the inscription, we knew communists were gone. And I remember queuing there in order to taste, what people in Western countries were eating, and it was incredibly expensive. So for me it was really, for every student, because for the same price we could have a lunch at the local restaurants, menu, not whatever, just menu. And you see the color of McDonald's, green one, healthy one. Yeah. They at least pretend to be healthier than you. That is out from 45 50 Well, it's exaggerated name of course, but it's very lovely place. It's becoming common ice cream or having lunch or dinner in local restaurants. 100 years after being created this place, citizens of Bratislava donated money and gold, and they held the construction of Slovak National Theatre, Slovenské národné divadlo, as you can read up there. My great-grandma donated her wedding ring. That's why I used to say that 1 year of bust of Shakespeare is ours. So that's Slovak National Theatre. We have much bigger building, a new theatre, but this one is much closer to our hearts. You can have an idea, yeah. Another beautiful building here you already have seen. Do you remember from the coach? This beautiful beige stucco one from beginning of 20th century, seat of Philharmonics Orchestra. There are 2 big concert halls, few smaller ones, and even inaugurations of our presidents are taking place there. Hotel Carton, very famous hotel from beginning of 20th century, where a lot of kings, politicians, actors, singers were put up. Now it is 4-star hotel, we have also 5-star hotels, of course. And right behind it you can see beige building, and past it there is attached grey one. All this is the complex of American embassy. So now you can go and check. In front of it there is a big statue of very important gentleman of Slovak history, a representative of the Slovak national revival, writer, and the first one wrote his poems and novels in Slovak language, named Bratislava. This square is named after him. We are very proud of him, and one of his poems turned into the Slovak national song. Yeah. Okay, my dear friends, last thing or 2-3 things I would like to tell you. Pharmacy. Someone definitely would ask me for pharmacy. So in that case, this one, there is a green cross. In the passage of that house, you have to enter, and on the right side there is a pharmacy. They speak English. We verified it already. Restrooms. We have public restrooms. Even from here I can see the red sign in that park. WC, but you have to walk downstairs. There usually is the fat, angry lady sitting there. And you know what? Go to McDonald's. The same price, 50 cents, warm place, or you buy something and you use the ticket to use it, yeah? And the way back to your ship. Very easy, very simple. You should count like 10 minutes, normal pace, if you start walking from this place to your ship. Just straight out, even.
You want to go to that little store
Check my
before
hat.
it closes?
Where's my hat?
I didn't see it on the floor. But you had to have taken it off. Did you put it in the book bag?
Maybe. Probably.
Yeah, I don't know where to find it. I don't think it was in there. Oh, no, I was wrong. You don't turn. Straight.
That's correct.
And then you turn at the water.
Except that we're going to turn. What'd you say?
My cheeks will chap. So since I don't have a scarf.
It's true.
But it's hard to get it fixed just right so it doesn't seem like my glasses. Unlike the other one.
Oh, you probably, Put it down below your nose. Oh, good. Down there.
Huh?
Down there? Where's the boat? It's down that way.
How do you get down there?
You walk.
You're so smart. Oh, it says stop. It says stop.
I know what it says.
You were in the middle.
Yeah.
There's another statue.
Yeah,
That
I'm
one's
gonna.
kind of an icky statue. I don't
Right.
want one just out of that
I
one.
want one.
All right.
They're doing their thing.
Oh, yeah, there's a, you can keep walking.
Yeah, you can keep going.
And remember, we'll be getting on a different Viking ship.
Hey, listen, we're texting.
So it'll be,
What's that?
who did we dock against?
We were the first one, so.
Oh, that's right. Okay, we were the first one.
wait on it.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
Oh yeah. Oh, big time.
You should have realised it from the in-person.
Oh yeah, there's that building. I'm gonna want to take a picture of that building. Hey, we'll get just before we get on the boat. Yeah, see, we're the first one to Ingvi.